when you get the message from Pep Guardiola that you're not the right man for him, how are you okay with that? Surely that was unbelievably painful.
It wasn't painful. It was frustrating. It wasn't painful. It was a great man who had a vision that I didn't fit into. It was frustrating. I didn't mind, if it was to go to a panel and coaches were sat there and my name was brought up and he said, no, for me, that's not, which is what he said. He's a good goalkeeper. But for me, the system doesn't work, which is fine for his opinion. But then he took charge of the club that I was a part of and that I loved.
Yeah.
But what can you do? What can you do? I'd love to have stayed and tried to prove otherwise. Not even prove. It would have been, look, I can try and help you to come to the level that I need you to, but I can't start you. But I'm living in that world where I want to play for England. I want to play at the highest possible level. And you can't play for England if you're being trialed at a football club. Well, I couldn't at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just an unfortunate circumstance. But I don't think it wasn't a personal attack on me. It was a man who had a vision and I didn't fit into it.
And what was the conversation like then?
Oh, it was apparent that I think he signed maybe in February. I think it was announced Manuel wouldn't carry on. Grumblings, and obviously I don't even know if was he a free agent at the time or was he finishing his tenure at Bayern.
Yeah.
Football, we played good football at Manchester City, but we weren't of that brand, so I'd never played that and none of us had. It was a new brand for all of us and it was something that was obvious that he was going to bring in. And obviously I was deep in a contract at the club. I was probably 3.5 years, maybe even 4 years left on a deal. The club were committed to me. I was committed to them. But their golden goose was to get Pep. There was no, and I thought, great, I'd love to be a part of that. And then he came in and pulled me very early. We spoke I think I came back early to go and meet them in China because I got the vibe that it wasn't set in stone for me, and I needed to have
How
some
did you
sort
get
of
that
conversation.
vibe?
Good question. You just do, right? I'd imagine he's going to be the new manager. I was a senior player.
Yeah.
He's the kind of person that I'd imagine there would have been a conversation previous to coming into training. Looking forward to working with you. That didn't happen. I don't know if that's how he works. I don't know. I don't work with the guy. But came in and Xavi still there, someone who I've got a great relationship, still do now, doing a great job at Manchester City. He said he didn't know how to feel. He didn't know where he stood. He was still waiting to meet the manager. And I just kind of put two and two together. And then we got in front of each other and he told me that as much as he admired me as a person, he didn't think I could fit into his system. To which I was like, look, I don't agree with you, but that's your opinion. Is that something that we can work on together? Or is that something where I need to find a new home? To which he said, look, I would work. I'm happy to work, but I can't put everything aside that I'm trying to do. I'm here to win. And I respect that. I mean, he was here to win. He wasn't here to give me a good career or look after me. He needed a goalkeeper that he felt could function because he's the kind of coach who he needs all his people to work, and then he'll tell them what to do and where to go and how it works, which I've been a part of up in, Scotland, playing for a similar sort of manager. And when you're one of those pieces, it's such an interesting way to play. But I wasn't a trusted piece and I was in a very important position. So if I'm not a trusted piece, he can't put me into a system which, whether it's a 50-50, whether it works or not. He didn't know whether I could or whether I couldn't. I didn't know whether I could or couldn't. But he didn't have the time, hence me saying about the life that we live and national team trying to win. He's in that life too. So he didn't have the time for that. And I didn't fit in. So,
but you had that lovely example from a couple of years earlier where you've decided to go and build relationships and find common ground that eventually leads to you being able to develop stronger professional relationships. Did you try and find that common ground with him on a personal level?
Yeah, 100%. That's how I had the same conversations. We actually went in depth. It's a shame. I know it's important. It's an important thing to talk about, but it's a shame it's such a vital part of my story because of a 21, 22-year story. He's a month.
Yeah.
And we move.
Yeah.
And it got dealt with. Wasn't ideal. And here we are now.
Huel has been a staple of my diet for some time, and I'm currently loving these Huel Daily A to Z vitamins. Tastes great, refreshing. Each can has 26 vitamins and minerals, offering 154 science-backed health benefits. reduced tiredness and fatigue, normal cognitive function, healthy skin, hair and nails, and vitamin D for immunity. This is a vitamin drink that offers everything you could need it to. So what are you waiting for? Grab it right now in Tesco stores nationwide or at Huel.com and let me know what you think.
I suppose the reason why it's a big deal for people is that this was the beginning of the Man City we see today. And I suppose I wonder how it was for you after that time, watching the success that came, thinking, man, I was there. And
we were pretty successful.
Yeah, you were.
We did all right for a team that hadn't necessarily won in a while. We were part of the first team to win the FA Cup. You know, we didn't just win one Premier League, we won two. We were winning whatever the League Cup was called at the time, so it didn't hurt too much. And that wasn't my team that did the rest, so I just supported. I love that club, love everything about the club, love the people. They welcomed me as a 19-year-old boy. The Premier League was everything to me. The club was doing their best to stay in the league at the time. It was amazing, some amazing people that are still there now. But what comes with great power? Lots and change. Not many people survive. And you know the ones that survived? They're literally some of the best players in the world to have ever played the game. And I'm all right, but I'm not that guy.
You were very good. How do you reflect on your Man City time? I mean, if we think about the most famous moments in a Man City shirt, I guess arms aloft, running around in circles like a crazy guy when you won the Premier League is a pretty big moment.
That's a big moment, but there's so much more to it. There's so many more moments that I loved. Few ups and downs previous to that as well. You know, I was doing well in the Taksin Sinawatra reign with Casper, with Andreas Isaacson, Sven. Mark Hughes comes in. He wants another goalkeeper. Go and learn to Birmingham. Whilst I'm away at Birmingham, Mancini comes in. He's not happy with Shea, so he brings me back. Lots of sliding door moments, but loads of brilliant moments. Love playing away. For my first time in the Europa League, I remember playing in the Faroe Islands in a Europa League qualifier, winning a penalty shootout, FC Midtjylland, playing with Richard Dunn. Just moments like that, and don't get me wrong, the Premier League moment's exceptional, but there's just so much more to it. The day to day, the relationships, the move from Carrington to the new training ground, the relationships with the supporters, the away games, that FA Cup, that first win, when the Manchester United semi-final, like these moments just do everything for me, and they really make me happy.
And the Manchester City Spurs game.
Yeah.
Like, I think of that as one of the seminal moments in your career. Just, you spoke at the beginning about this sort of constant upward trajectory.
Yep.
That kind of felt like a real validation of the journey you'd been on. What are your memories of that day?
So Roberto had come in and he'd asked me to come back to Manchester City, having been on loan at Birmingham, where I was on loan at Birmingham and I was trying to leave. Like, Manchester City didn't want me anymore. Mark Hughes didn't want me. He had Shea Given. Like, what a goalkeeper, what a guy. Unbelievable player in the Premier League. And then the beautiful world of football changes. Mancini comes in. I don't think him and Shea got on. And he asked me to come back pre-season, to which I was like, absolutely no chance. Like, no way. You didn't want me, I'm done. And he said, please just come back and I'll give you a fair shot. I want to put you against Shea. So we did pre-season, we shared it. And then the two Italian managers that I've worked with both were a flip chart an hour and a half before the game. There was no you're playing, you might not be playing.
Is that hard mentally?
Just is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. It's whatever. Sometimes your name's the other side of the flip chart, sometimes it's not. But at least it's consistent. I flipped it, I'm playing against Tottenham. Obviously, I actually got on very well with Shea, still do. Love the guy to pieces, and we both understood that it was just both looking for an incredible spot. And we'd do everything we could. There was certainly no backstand from me, not from him. What a stand-up, brilliant person. He'd come in and done the same to me. He'd come in and taken my place in January, February. And then I played, and then everything was coming. Jermaine was up front, Crouchy was up front. It was a good Tottenham team. We were poor. We had a lot of new signings, and they were just slicing through the middle of us, and I was saving everything like a school kid on a schoolyard. And up to half time, I remember I've seen a clip of Shea literally laughing. Like, it was almost a joke. It was like, it was a way of cementing myself in the team with a good performance, and there was a game where literally everything was hitting me, everything I was doing was right.